Can you imagine Red Bull, the team that has dominated Formula One in recent years, struggling to stay competitive? Well, that's exactly what could happen in 2025 without Max Verstappen. Today I'll tell you why Bernie Collins claims that, without their star driver, Red Bull could be the worst team on the grid. Stay tuned until the end as we analyze the RB21's technical problems, Liam Lawson's struggles, and what Red Bull needs to do to avoid an even bigger crisis. The 2025 season has been a real challenge for Red Bull Racing. After several years of absolute dominance with Max Verstappen at the helm, the team faces a different landscape, filled with uncertainty and technical issues. Although Verstappen remains the star driver, with his ability to maximize the car's performance, the RB21's problems and the difficulties with driver Liam Lawson are jeopardizing the team's stability. Red Bull has traditionally been known for its ability to create fast and technically advanced cars. However, this year the RB21 appears to be a car that, while fast in Verstappen's hands, has characteristics that make it extremely difficult for other drivers to handle. Despite the efforts of Adrian Newey's team, the car has shown several shortcomings, particularly regarding the balance between the front and rear axles, as well as tire degradation. These issues have even affected Verstappen, who has been extremely critical of the car's management in various interviews. The four-time world champion has publicly acknowledged that the RB21 is a difficult car to drive, particularly on circuits with uneven surfaces or banking changes, which complicates its performance in variable conditions. Despite these obstacles, the RB21 remains a competitive car, but its capricious nature means that only Verstappen can extract the maximum performance from it. This has put Red Bull in a difficult position, as it relies entirely on its star driver to maintain its competitiveness on the grid. The team, which previously could count on the performance of both its cars, now finds itself in a situation where the second seat has become a real liability. This is evident in the performances of Liam Lawson, who, in his first full season with the main team, has failed to adapt to the RB21. Lawson has struggled in every race, underperforming his predecessor, Sergio Perez, and this gap seems to widen with each Grand Prix. This dilemma is intensified when looking at Lawson's lack of preparation for the car's technical challenges. Unlike other teams such as Mercedes, which implement extensive testing programs for their young drivers, Red Bull failed to provide Lawson with the necessary experience before his promotion to the main team. This gap in his technical background has been made clear, with Lawson struggling to get the tires working properly, adapt to the demands of the car, and compete at the same level as Verstappen. In his first races, he has been unable to match Verstappen's qualifying times and has had several race incidents that have further affected his confidence and performance. Red Bull's situation in 2025 reflects a structural crisis that goes beyond simply having a weak second driver. The team has focused its development on Verstappen's preferences and driving style, resulting in an extremely specialized car, designed for a driver who has already demonstrated his exceptional talent. This leaves other drivers with few options to adapt to the car without proper preparation and a tailored setup. The RB21's lack of versatility is exposing a critical weakness in Red Bull's long-term strategy, as they can no longer rely solely on Verstappen to win races and championships. In this context, Red Bull faces a double threat. Not only must they address the RB21's technical issues to regain their competitiveness, but they must also rethink their approach to driver development. The second seat has historically been a challenge for the team, and the lack of a solid base for Lawson, combined with an unwieldy car, could jeopardize the team's medium to long-term future. Without a quick fix, Red Bull could find itself overwhelmed by pressure from other teams like McLaren, which are demonstrating great versatility and consistency in 2025. This block highlights the fragile situation Red Bull is experiencing in the 2025 season. The dominance of recent years, where the competition seemed light years ahead, is now threatened. The team needs to make quick and effective decisions, not only in car development but also in how to manage the transition of its drivers, to prevent this season from becoming a complete disaster. The 2025 season has been particularly difficult for Liam Lawson, who assumed the role of regular driver at Red Bull following the departure of Sergio Perez. However, what seemed like a golden opportunity for the young New Zealander has turned into an ordeal from the start of the season. Since his first race as a main driver, Lawson has faced a series of problems that have caused his performance to fall far short of Red Bull's expectations. The Chinese Grand Prix was a clear example of his difficulties. Lawson was forced to start the race from the pit lane due to suspension setup changes, a drastic decision made by the team after a dismal qualifying performance. In this event, Lawson finished in a disappointing 15th position, unable to do anything to improve his position during the race. This result reflects not only the problems adapting to the car, but also a lack of confidence in the car that has been evident from the start. When comparing his performance with that of Sergio Perez, the gap is even more alarming. Perez, despite his string of negative results last season, managed to reach Q3 on several occasions, which was at least an acceptable baseline for Red Bull. Lawson, however, has had serious difficulties even making it to Q2, with qualifying gaps exceeding 0.8 seconds compared to Verstappen. This gap has been especially pronounced at circuits like Australia, where Lawson not only lagged his teammates' times but also made significant mistakes during qualifying, such as going off track on his second Q1 attempt. One of Lawson's biggest issues has been his struggle to find the right rhythm with the RB21. This car, which was primarily designed for Verstappen, has proven particularly difficult to handle for drivers with a different driving style. Lawson, lacking the same quick adaptation ability as his teammate, has been unable to extract the maximum performance from the car. In Australia, for example, Lawson used a different wing and nose configuration, looking for a solution that would allow him to achieve better handling. However, this setup was not only ineffective, but also demonstrated the vast differences in performance between him and Verstappen. Compared to Perez's 1 minute and 16.805 seconds in 2024, Lawson achieved a time of 1 minute and 17.094 seconds, which shows a clear lack of competitiveness in his driving. What's most worrying isn't just Lawson's qualifying performance, but also his race performance. At the Australian Grand Prix, he attempted a different strategy, hoping rain would change the conditions, but crashed into the wall on lap 47, ruining his race and once again demonstrating his lack of control over the car. These types of errors have been recurrent throughout the season, raising questions about his ability to handle the pressure of competing for one of the most prestigious teams in Formula One. What's most surprising is Lawson's lack of preparation before taking on this role. Red Bull, unlike other teams like Mercedes, has not provided a proper testing program for Lawson to familiarize himself with the car before his promotion. While drivers like Andrea Kimi Antonelli at Mercedes have had the opportunity to test older cars to gain experience, Lawson had only 11 races of experience with the team before being promoted, which is clearly insufficient for a driver needing to adapt to a car as demanding as the RB21. This gap in Lawson's preparation has highlighted a strategic flaw on the part of Red Bull, which, by not offering him more time to adapt, has left him in a very difficult situation. Despite being a young driver with great potential, Lawson now finds himself under immense pressure to perform in a team that doesn't seem to have given him the right tools to succeed. The impact of this crisis on Red Bull is profound. The second seat has historically been problematic for the team, and with Lawson, the situation doesn't seem to have improved. Rumors about a possible replacement for the New Zealand driver have begun to circulate, especially after his poor performance in China. Even team principal Christian Horner has hinted that nothing is guaranteed for Lawson, increasing speculation about his future with the team. In short, the Liam Lawson crisis reflects Red Bull's current fragility in 2025. The driver's lack of preparation, difficulty adapting to the car, and constant errors in qualifying and the race are calling into question his ability to remain with the team. The team needs to make quick decisions about Lawson's future, as if they cannot improve his performance, they could face an even greater crisis in the coming months as they struggle to maintain their competitive position on the grid. Red Bull's RB21, which had been considered one of the most dominant cars in Formula One in previous seasons, has shown serious technical issues in 2025, even in the hands of Max Verstappen. These problems have highlighted the difficulties the team faces in adapting its car to the new demands of the season, as well as the challenges Red Bull faces in maintaining its competitiveness on the grid. Despite expectations, the RB21's performance has been very inconsistent, and the technical issues are beginning to seriously affect the team's race performance. One of the most significant issues Verstappen highlighted is the imbalance between the car's front and rear axles. The RB21 struggles to maintain a good relationship between these two key parts of the car, resulting in difficult handling and a lack of stability in certain conditions. This imbalance is especially evident on circuits with uneven surfaces or banking changes, common characteristics of many of the tracks on the Formula One calendar. When the car can't properly absorb the track's irregularities, it loses traction and lap time, which directly affects performance during races. Max Verstappen has been particularly critical of the car's behavior on these types of circuits, as was the case at the Monaco Grand Prix. During that weekend, the Dutch driver called the result the worst possible, and openly expressed that he didn't see an immediate solution to the car's fundamental problems. Verstappen, known for his positive attitude and ability to extract maximum performance from any car, rarely appears so frustrated with his team. This statement underscores the magnitude of the problems Red Bull is facing with the RB21 and the pressure this is creating within the team. Another area that has been particularly problematic for Red Bull in 2025 is tire management. The car has shown worrying tire degradation, especially on Pirelli's medium compound, which has impacted performance during races. During the Chinese Grand Prix, Verstappen experienced a loss of almost a second per lap to the McLarens in his stint on the medium tires. This type of tire degradation issue is a crucial factor in Formula One, as it can decide the outcome of a race if a team is unable to remain competitive throughout the entire stint. This tire challenge is symptomatic of a broader issue with car balance. A car that doesn't consistently manage its tires well tends to suffer from overheating or uneven wear, which directly impacts its ability to maintain competitive paces over long distances. On circuits like Shanghai, Red Bull has struggled to maintain consistent performance throughout the race, while other teams like McLaren and Ferrari have demonstrated a better ability to manage their tires and maintain a more consistent pace. Furthermore, the RB21's technical issues are not limited solely to tire management. Red Bull engineers have identified that the car exhibits unpredictable behavior in certain track conditions, making it very difficult for Verstappen or any other driver to predict how the car will behave throughout a lap or during a race. This type of uncertainty is not something Red Bull has experienced in the past, and it is especially problematic given the level of sophistication and precision with which the team has designed its cars in recent years. Red Bull's engineering team, led by Adrian Newey, is now faced with the challenge of correcting these structural issues and returning the RB21 to its competitive level. Another critical point that has emerged regarding the car's technical issues is the RB21's lack of versatility. While other teams such as McLaren have managed to adapt their car to different types of tracks and tire compounds, Red Bull seems to be struggling to make the RB21 work effectively in a variety of conditions. This has become evident in the 2025 races, where car performance varies considerably from circuit to circuit. McLaren, for example, has demonstrated a great ability to adapt to different track types, allowing the team to remain competitive on both fast and more technical circuits. The RB21's lack of versatility not only affects race performance but also jeopardizes the team's ability to compete for the Constructors' Championship. Red Bull now finds itself in a constant struggle to remain competitive against teams like McLaren and Ferrari, which have demonstrated a greater ability to adapt and improve their performance in diverse conditions. This has put Red Bull in an awkward situation as the team, which for years was the most dominant, must now find a quick solution to its technical issues to maintain its advantage. The fact that Verstappen has been so critical of the car also highlights a complex situation for Red Bull. Although the team has demonstrated its ability to adapt quickly and solve technical problems in the past, the challenges of 2025 are greater than anticipated. Red Bull now needs to act quickly to address these issues, as failure to do so could result in the loss of the competitive advantage they have maintained over the past few years. The coming weeks will be crucial, as the team must find a way to make the RB21 more stable, predictable, and competitive on all types of circuits. In conclusion, the RB21's technical issues pose a significant threat to Red Bull's immediate future in Formula One. With difficulties in car balance, tire management, and a lack of versatility, the team faces a significant challenge in remaining competitive on the grid. Red Bull's ability to correct these issues and adapt its car to the demands of the 2025 season will determine its short and long-term success. The outlook for Red Bull in 2025 is uncertain and fraught with challenges that, in many ways, the team had not anticipated. After years of undisputed dominance, the RB21 has proven to be a more problematic car than expected, and technical issues coupled with Liam Lawson's poor performance are testing Red Bull's ability to remain a serious contender in Formula One. Red Bull's situation raises a fundamental question. How can a team that has dominated Formula One in the recent era, with exceptional talent like Max Verstappen, cope with a season filled with technical and driver adversity? Verstappen's talent has undoubtedly been key to keeping Red Bull in contention for championships. But as we've seen, even he is faced with a car that doesn't allow him to perform at his best on every circuit. This makes it clear that, although the team has one of the greatest drivers in history at its side, the squad must make fundamental adjustments if it wants to remain competitive in the long term. What's even more revealing is the second driver's dilemma. With Lawson struggling to adapt to the RB21 and facing increasing pressure due to poor results, the future of the Red Bull seat appears to be at stake. This is a historic challenge for the team, as the driver lineup has always been a fundamental pillar of its success. The decision on how to handle this situation could have significant repercussions for the team, either in the form of a driver change or through a shift in strategy to better support drivers in their development. On a technical level, the coming weeks will be crucial. Verstappen's involvement in the car's development process could be key to finding quick and effective solutions to the problems plaguing the RB21. With an urgent update to the car, Red Bull has the opportunity to correct the issues and improve the balance between the front and rear axles, as well as tire management, two critical aspects that have limited the car's performance in 2025. However, the competition is stalking, with McLaren, Ferrari, and Mercedes making strong progress, meaning Red Bull has no room for error. The question surrounding Red Bull's future relates not only to this season, but also to its ability to remain the dominant team in the years to come. The Constructors and Drivers' Championships depend not only on having a great driver at the wheel, but also on a car that is competitive enough to ensure that talent can shine. If Red Bull cannot resolve the current issues, it could lose its place at the top of the grid and face a period of rebuilding. The 2025 season is far from over, and although Red Bull is in a complex situation, there is still time to turn things around. However, the decisions the team makes in the upcoming races, especially regarding the management of its car and drivers, will be decisive in determining whether it can maintain its dominance or if this will be the season that marks the end of a golden era. What is clear is that the team is facing an unprecedented challenge and needs to adapt quickly if it wants to remain competitive in a Formula One championship that is tighter than ever. With all this, the question remains, will Red Bull overcome this crisis and continue to dominate Formula One, or is it experiencing the beginning of a transition to a new era of uncertainty? The future of the team is at stake, and the answers will come in the coming weeks.